Welcome to the Taylor Made Tasty podcast. I'm Taylor, retired serial quitter turned goal boss coach, speaker, and consultant. I believe a beautiful life starts with a beautiful mindset. Join me as we amplify confidence, resilience, and actionable tools on the road to quit quitting on you and your vision. You are worthy of your goals, so let's go get there. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Taylor Made Tasty, the podcast, here with another 10 with Taylor about pushing through those moments or days or hell, really even weeks when you feel drained. And I want to offer you some perspective on what those feelings could mean, how to push past them, and when to own that you need to push through or pause. So I was having this conversation with my husband about running training, and I was explaining how many people have talked about or described a half marathon very different than a full marathon because logically it's exactly double the work, but physically and mentally it's so much more than that. And we got to talking about how important it is to push towards the end of the marathon even more than the start, which led my husband to talking about his football days, and when he was gassed out in the fourth quarter is when you are pushing the hardest. Even if you're up by many points, that can change very quickly, and you have to keep the push when you are most tired and most drained during the game. So naturally, with how my brain works, I was thinking, damn, that is a lot like life. When we are most drained, most tired, most mentally or physically exhausted, we still have to push and show up for our goals, for our life around us, for the people around us. And this definitely happens in seasons in our life. And sometimes we feel amped and completely in flow, like the beginning of a race or a game. We have the energy, the focus. Then we start to feel gassed and tired by just normal life obligations. We become drained, and our natural response is to quit versus to push. And what if that defining moment or choice is to push, and that is your path to winning the race of that certain goal or winning the game towards your dream life? We all want to get better. I think that's something we can actually agree on. We all want to reach for that higher dream of life, to feel confident, to feel fulfilled, to have unshakable belief that if we decide to do something, it will get done through hell or high water, right? But when we so often tend to let ourselves down, right? Like the majority of us don't deliver on our promises. And nothing is more unfortunate than wasted goals, and nothing is more painful than the regret of what could have been. Think of times that you actually have fought harder for your friends or family as opposed to fighting for yourself. And have you thought about what often divides the unsuccessful and successful is insanely marginal, like so small. It's just about a couple of tweaks here and there and a couple of mental mindset cues that cause a mindset shifts in someone's life. And I've said this before, but if you're not growing, you're not progressing. And if you aren't progressing, you aren't living. So be it mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, or professionally, we want to be growing and living, not staying the same. And when does this happen? We get drained and we just stop, right? We stop learning, we stop working out, we stop challenging ourselves, we stop fighting to reach for our full potential. And sometimes you do need a big old break. Let's just own that. This episode is not for those times though. This is about you pushing through and eliminating excuses when you are close to a goal, close to checking off that vision board, close to hitting a financial milestone, to closing a huge deal, to getting a certain number number on the scale, to seeing your dream come true when you're tired. This is for those times. So we're going to start with vital focus, focusing on one thing at a time, maybe one of the hardest things anyone can do, especially in this era. We have so much at our fingertips, right? We have mastered the skill of distraction and destroyed our skill of concentration. So vital focus means changing your lifestyle, means that you have to set tougher boundaries with your time, your energy, people around you. Vital focus means that whatever your goal is for that final push means that you eat, sleep, and breathe that goal. Your life, your conversations, your schedule, your mindset are laser focused on every decision that you need to make that aligns with that goal. It comes down to focus. If you take away anything from this episode, remember this: make your main thing the main thing. What does that mean? Like the main thing, aka your main goal, should be the main thing in your life. If you are changing paths all the time, then we are really on a fast track to nowhere, right? And we have to decide on what that main thing is and commit to becoming a short-term specialist. I love that we plan an entire year ahead, but this push is when you are drained, is about the next 30, 60, or 90 days max, and becoming an expert at being good at short-term tasks. So the next 30, 60, 90 days, you could lose X number of pounds. You could start to write a book. You could launch a blog. You could build some financial stability. But it takes vital focus to make that happen. And focus could be the missing piece to transforming your life, especially when you are feeling drained. What distractions can you cut out? What can you say no to? What can you say yes to? Know what you want and don't deviate from it. Another piece of this is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the twin sister of vital focus. Being focused on what we want to push through when we're drained, but also to be present and mindful. And in the book, 6 Habits of Highly Empathic People, the following is explained. It's not that people don't want to get better. It's the fact that they don't pay close enough attention to what is really destroying their life. They aren't keen on the ideas and the details that are holding them back. And I know you're tired. I know you're drained. I know you're over it. But until you get to a higher place of success and discipline, you need to be mindful when it comes to the details. You haven't earned the right to relax just yet. When you get to that goal, you can relax a little bit, right? And celebrate. But to be a little careless with our discipline means that we need to be more mindful, to pay attention to the gaps that are costing us our goals. And this goes for your money, your time, your relationships, your inner peace, your physical health. If you look at people who are successful, regardless of their goals, the mindfulness doesn't lie, right? Elite athletes that calculate every calorie in and every calorie out, and they are aware so they can go faster, lift heavier. Financially well-off people who are mindful of investments, every dollar spent, every dollar saved. Spiritual leaders who are mindfulness of their inner peace and anything or anyone that disrupts that. To have the ability when you are in the race of life or the game of your goals and that piece gets the toughest, you need to be mindful of everything you do. Be present at your highest energetic level, right? And the first piece of being more mindful is to have a focused awareness of everything that is pushing you forward in life, but also everything that is pulling you backwards. And the last piece of this, if you know my coaching, you knew this one was coming. Action cures everything. Drained? Take action. Tired? Take action. Exhausted? Take action. I'm not saying action like everything has to be some sort of grandiose task, but action can be as simple as you taking self-inventory of your thoughts that day. Action could be you talking with your spouse about how they can support you during this drain time that you want to push through. Action can be making lists and breaking down milestones with a more precise timeline for your goals. The truth is, most people know what is draining draining them. A dead-end job, a toxic relationship, uncomfortable in your skin, addicted to something, feeling lost, knowing they need to grow up, knowing they need a new approach to life, right? But it takes action to fight what is draining you, to push through and to see it on the other side. Remember, action doesn't have to be something massive, but if you pair action with vital focus and stay mindful of your end goal, you have created a badass goal-crushing monster. So with that, we have vital focus, making your main thing the main thing. Stay locked in. Mindfulness. You can't fix a weakness that you don't know that you have. You aren't motivated to fix a destructive habit until you understand or feel the depths of its pain, right? And the third one here being action. Focus and mindfulness are not enough. You must apply and take action. And we all have the intention to maximize our life with our goals and our dreams, but it is the simple act of paying attention to face the gaps from who you were in the past to who you are now to who you want to become, and then close them. Yes, even when you have been running the race for too long or playing the game for years, this is your time to push through the drained feelings to see the winning prize at the end. Now, I called this episode Feeling Drained ? Start here, because I want you to own if this is your time to push or your time to pause, because we don't want to quit. We don't quit here. If you have decided that this is a time to push, I am so amped for you. And if you have decided that this is a time to pause, I want you to know that is equally as valid. Take ownership of your goals and decide in this season if pushing will get you to the finish line. All right, y'all, it is time for the quote of the episode. This quote is from an article I read recently, and it goes, "Every second of our days, we have a choice between betterment or stagnancy. We consciously and unconsciously choose whether we want to get better or whether we want to stay stagnant, deciding if we step into growth or step back into safety." Take that into your week, your month, maybe even your year, and choose to push through into your goals. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for being in my community. I'm so glad you showed up today, and let's go get there. Look at you, crushing it. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Tailor Made Tasty podcast. My hope is you always leave with a takeaway to implement in your own goal-crushing journey. I would love if you could take a moment to leave a review. And if you're looking for a community of goal boss badasses just like you, be sure to check out tailormadetasty.com/membership.